Leo 2020 horoscope. Welcome, dear friends. This is astrology prediction for people who have their sun or rising sign in Leo. We are going to talk about 2020 and the key events during the whole year. And trust me, we have many of those. Saturn and Jupiter are changing signs. They are going to be in conjunction together. They are both going to be in conjunction with Pluto separately from each other. The nodes are shifting signs. We also have Venus and Mars retrograde. So these are some of the key events which we are going to discuss. And we are going to pay attention how each of them will affect specifically your sign. So stay tuned. Before that, let me tell you that the 2020 astrology calendar is available. If you want to get the daily insights about visible, invisible planets, about aspects, and also ingressions, you can find the link below and get yourself a copy of the calendar. Now let's begin with our journey in 2020 with the good news. We are starting with Jupiter, which will ingress your 6th house, guys. And basically, for the most part of the year, Jupiter will be there. Jupiter in Capricorn in 6th house can really help you to expand something in regards to your work, your career, your daily routines, how you organize something, how you plan and how you execute things, and of course, your health. So 6th house, we're going to see that is going to be triggered a lot during 2020. This is one of the key points in your chart, and it also means in your life. So prepare for changes, for the opportunities. There will be some hard work, of course, as well, because Capricorn is a sign which requires work, but the opportunities will be presented to you. So interesting time, and you may find that you are able to do more things, that you can achieve more things, that new opportunities are coming up to you. But don't forget, you always need to take action. And together with Jupiter, we also need to mention that Saturn is in Capricorn in your 6th house, part of the year, not all of it. So basically from January until March, and then from July until the middle of December. Saturn in 6th house together with Jupiter. And Saturn in 6th house actually requires hard work, requires consistency and structuring things, organizing, working harder than usual. So this combination of Jupiter and Saturn, both in your 6th house through the year, means that there will be opportunities that you can grow, you can expand. It's a great time to start a new business, for example, or to apply for a different job position, or even to be promoted. That's absolutely possible for you, but you need to remember that it will require some hard work and effort. One of the most important things about Saturn is that this is the planet of justice. So if you really deserve to be promoted or to succeed in your job, you will definitely get that. It might take time and patience and consistency, but eventually at some point you will get where you are supposed to be. So honestly, my advice for you guys is to work as hard as you can during 2020. It may really help you to put the foundation of something stable, important, and bringing the opportunity to expand in the future. So Jupiter and Saturn together there can really bring this type of, mixture, which honestly I think can be extremely productive. At the same time, Saturn also changes the house position for you part of the year. So from the 22nd of March until the end of June, and after the 17th of December, Saturn shifts its position to Aquarius and triggers your 7th house. So that's a big one. That's an important aspect, especially when it comes to relationships and partnerships. Saturn in seventh house may trigger you to think about more seriously about your relationships. And for example, if you are single, if you do not have a serious relationship, Saturn in seventh house wouldn't support just, those type of flirting, easygoing relationships, superficial relationships. That would be cut out of your life. But Saturn can support you to find a meaningful, stable, and long-lasting relationship. So it may not be that one, with the butterflies in the stomach, with, all of the romantic stuff and, the idealistic expectations. This one is a more stable, more grounded, and more practical relationship that you can manifest in your life. If you are in a relationship, then Saturn in seventh house may actually trigger you to think about the future of your relationship. Would you like to make things more serious or to make them formal or legal? Because let's not forget that Saturn is the law. Saturn is related to the legal form of things. And marriage, it's all about legal stuff and, signing signatures, and at least on the outer level, of course. So Saturn in seventh house may help you for getting married, legalizing your relationship, making it official. But you need to be very responsible in this area. You need to be very patient, very consistent. When it comes to business relationships, Saturn in seventh house can also be very supportive, because Saturn also is related to the work environment, the business. So in seventh house, it can bring potential for relationships in business. They may not be, like many of them, like abundance. They might be a few, but they will be reliable and meaningful. That's what Saturn brings. So interesting combination between your sixth and seventh house through the year. The other news we need to pay attention, Saturn is joining Pluto in your sixth house. It happens only once during 2020 on the 12th of January. This one is a big one and it's very important and significant. Saturn and Pluto together require from you to restructure something, to change the foundations of something, to change the rules. And that concerns specifically the area of your work, of your business, and even your health. So what needs to be changed? Do you need to follow some new rules? What needs to be recreated or transformed? Or is something is kind of dead for you in a way, then you need to let it go. For example, if you are in a dead-end job, or if you feel like what you're doing is meaningless or it's not making you feel happy, this aspect may trigger you, may motivate you actually to leave this thing, to stop doing something you don't enjoy, something you don't like, and to be capable of taking the risk. The truth is that sometimes if we are not ready to make those decisions on our own, sometimes life may do that, for us, basically. So if you find yourself in a challenging work situation, business situation, this is a wake-up call for you that something needs to be transformed. Something is not working well for you. So be proactive and change the needed things. At the same time, Jupiter is also going to join Pluto 3 times during 2020, during April, June, and November. And of course, it again triggers your sixth house, so the topics are basically the same. The impact, however, is different. Jupiter is a planet which can bring abundance, which can bring growth. And Pluto, on the other side, is also a planet which brings power, it brings impact on many, many people. So especially if you work in something which has impact for others, like a social area or in bank institutions or in some way in the political area, for example, this conjunction may help you to increase your opportunity to influence other people, to have an impact. And this is a drastic, this is a huge impact that you may have on other people. So aspect that can bring growth, that can bring expansion, more power. It can boost your confidence. It can make you extremely passionate to achieve something at work, to become, more organized, more structured. So sixth house is very, very interesting for you guys during 2020, and prepare for it. The other interesting thing we have is the conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn. So even though both of the planets are in your sixth house most of the year and they are chasing each other, they are going to make the conjunction at the end of the year in Aquarius. So it's happening on the 21st of December, and actually it triggers your seventh house. And Jupiter and Saturn are the two social planets. So in some way, it marks the beginning of a new cycle in regards to social areas, social life. And seventh house, it's also a social house. It relates to your relationships, partnerships, how you communicate with others one-on-one, especially. So this aspect really puts the beginning of a new phase in this area of your life. This aspect, by the way, happens once in approximately 18 years. So it is a big one, and we are very excited to see how it will manifest. For you, we expect it to trigger, as I said, the social area, mostly your personal life and how you communicate with people one-on-one. So how can you change that, or what's the new beginning that you are anticipating for? These are also some of the questions we wait to see. The next important indication in our analysis is the position of the North and the South Node. So at the beginning of the year, the North Node is in your 12th house, and it will stay there until May. So the North Node in 12th house requires more diving into your personal experiences, exploring the past, letting go of unnecessary things, but also finding time for yourself, finding time to relax, to, reconnect with your inner self, with your higher self. And basically that's a very private experience. But there is a shift. After the 5th of May, the North Node will ingress Gemini and your 11th house. And this is a position which can really help you to expand your social circle. More friends, more people that share the same ideas, the same values, the same worldview. So that's the main area where you can also grow and expand. So one of the important tasks for you is also to learn more to be a team player. And it's not always that easy for Leo, because Leo usually are very good with being a single player, with relying on themselves. But now you need to forget a little bit about this and to focus more on how you can grow together with other people, how the community actually helps you to expand and to grow as well. So this is one of the really important questions. And as we said, also friends and other people can also play a major role. And when we talk about the nodes, of course, the next important question is about the eclipses. And we have 6 of them during 2020, which is quite remarkable on its own as well. Beginning with the 10th of January, there is a lunar eclipse in your 12th house. So changes, transformations more on an internal level, something that you can change within yourself, something that you need to let go, something you need to release. So that's a very spiritual combination. That's a very personal combination. How you can find the balance between personal life also and the material life, the obligations. Then during the summer, we have 3 eclipses in a row from the 5th of June until the 5th of July. Different houses are triggered from those eclipses. The first one activates your 5th house. So the main topic is your personal life, your romantic life, but also children, creativity, hobbies, things that you love doing. Basically, anything that you love. What you can change about it, maybe how you can get closer to it, or what you need to let go of so that you can become better, become more fulfilled. That's the main question here. The next eclipse on the 21st triggers your 12th house. So we have another focus on the personal stuff, on the inner experiences, on the past. It's kind of a new beginning in regards to this area when we have a solar eclipse. But again, the main impact is internal. So what's happening within you? That's, what the solar eclipse brings. And the last eclipse during the summer, on the 5th of July, lunar eclipse in your 6th house. So focus on work, on obligations, what you can let go of, what you can release, what you can transform. And it's about business, it's about health, it's about the daily things you do, colleagues, of course. So mostly this more, practical side, visible side of the world. And the last eclipses are at the end of the year. On the 30th of November, a lunar eclipse in your 11th house. So activates the social area, what you can change there, what you can materialize together with other people. Of course, your ideals are triggered as well. So something important might be materialized or manifested. And the last eclipse on the 14th of December, in your 5th house, there is a solar eclipse. So that's a big one. That's important eclipse. 5th house, don't forget, is associated to Leo. So you may feel like your personality is triggered in some way, that you want to change something about the things you love, something about the things you enjoy, the creativity, the hobbies, the love in your life overall. Those are the major topics. And next, we are moving to the next significant transit of the year. Venus, the planet of love and harmony, is turning retrograde. This is a transit which will continue from the 12th of May until the 24th of June. Venus will be retrograde in Gemini between the 22nd and the 5th degree, triggering your 11th house. So what it means is that you need to find a balance in your social area, in your social circle. Something may not be as smooth as you would like to, but that's a chance for you also to test things to see, is there something you want to let go of? For example, friendships which are disappointing or don't align with your own values. Well, now it's time to change those stuff. On the other side, the positive of this transit is that old relationships could be restarted. You may reconnect to people who you used to love, especially when it comes to friends or people from the same community that you are part of. The good news is that Venus won't have a challenging aspect with Leo. So overall, we don't expect this transit to be like, the drama of the summer or something like that. It's time to reconsider your values, the values of other people who are your friends, to reflect, to change something if it doesn't work, and overall to find the balance in your social circle. The next transit is another retrograde cycle we need to discuss. This time we talk about Mars, which is also retrograde from the 9th of September until the 12th of November. Mars will be in Aries, the sign of its rulership, between the 28th and the 15th degree, triggering your 9th house. So overall, while Mars is in Aries, it has a supportive aspect with Leo. That's always a great news. And from one side, it might kind of push you a little bit to change something, to do something, but mostly in the area of your 9th house. So your goals, what you can change, what you can improve there. We wouldn't recommend starting something new in regards to a big goal of yours or plans for the future, or also traveling and long-term trips or education. Those are the areas where you may kind of struggle with something, and you need to be more patient, you need to explore, you need to reflect, you need to go back to change something potentially or to reassess something. But overall, as we said, Mars in Leo, Mars in Aries is supporting Leo. So not that stressful. To be honest, Venus and Mars are both kind of friends with you, Leo, while they are retrograde. So that's kind of a positive news as well. Then we have Mercury retrograde, which is kind of a regular transit, 3 times during the year. The first one, February, March, in your 8th and 7th house, the time when you need to be cautious of mutual resources and investments, and overall your relationships and partnerships. Then June, July, the Mercury will be retrograde in your 12th house. So this is more like an internal process, or going back to your memories or releasing some of them. So not a life-changing transit, especially when it comes to the material, the visible side of things. And the last Mercury retrograde is October and November in your 4th and 3rd house. So more attention with personal life, with family, with all kinds of contacts, communication with people. And overall, the Mercury retrograde cycles are a time when we need to be careful with new projects, kind of, more cautious, avoiding the new beginnings. So if you have an important goal, important dream, important project, just try not to start it while Mercury is retrograde, especially if you want it to be long-lasting and not to change dramatically in time. Next, we have the outer planets to discuss. We begin with Uranus in Taurus, and that's an important transit for you, Leo, especially if the cusp of your 10th house is between the 3rd and the 11th degree, or if your sun sign is between the 3rd and the 11th degree. It means that Uranus will square your sun, and this is a time of change. This is a time to cut off some things out of your life, to make drastic changes. It might feel like there is less stability in your life, like you're constantly provoked or tested, but this is also a very liberating aspect that eventually can bring you more freedom. And Uranus in 10th house also brings one of the most significant changes in your social work, in your business, in your career, or the other really important thing that you are doing in your life. So if that's the case, you should try to find the change consciously. So don't avoid it. Don't try to, plan everything and stick to it. It's not gonna work very well this way. But if you are ready to make changes, if you are ready to, make serious transformations, well, this transit can really support you. And combining this transit, so Uranus in your 10th house, with all of the other stuff happening in your 6th house, this is really time for a new phase, a new period in terms of your career, your work, and your responsibilities as well. The next transit we have is Neptune, which is in Pisces between the 16th and the 21st degree in your 8th house. It would be an important transit if the cusp of your 8th house is between those degrees. In this case, you need to be more careful with mutual finances, with resources, with investments. Don't trust other people easily, because unfortunately, Neptune in 8th house sometimes may bring, you know, like confusion or someone misleading you, or general misunderstandings and complications in regards to the resources and the finances. But as I said, that's the case if Neptune is kind of crossing your 8th house, the cusp of the house. Otherwise, there is no major aspect, so you shouldn't be worried about it. And the last transit we have is Pluto, which is kind of one of the most important players during the year. Pluto is between the 22nd and the 25th degree in Capricorn in your 6th house. So transformations, especially at work, related to your daily responsibilities, that's a huge one if the cusp of your 6th house is between those degrees. Then it would bring incredible transformations through the whole year. Don't forget that Jupiter and Saturn are joining Pluto somewhere between those degrees. So if that's the case in your chart, then there will be a drastic transformation in your work. But keeping in mind that Saturn and Jupiter are there as well, we might expect, like, you know, there are some kind of shifts. So new opportunities can be presented, something old may need to, you know, be let go in a way. So overall, to summarize everything, it looks like the career stuff, the social area is really the most important for you guys during the upcoming year. So if you want to have this presentation, by the way, it's available and I will send it to you. You just need to write your email in the comments below the video. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget, if you want to get yourself a copy of the 2020 astrology calendar, you can find the link below the video. And don't forget to let us know also how you are feeling with all of those energies and what are you most excited for during 2020. Or maybe there is something that you are anxious about. Let us know in the comments and let's connect together. It was a pleasure for me as usual. Thank you so much for your time and we'll catch up next time.